You thought we were done, but we got more to say. The pickle punks. So at the end of the movie, all the glassy-eyed characters are all the mirror's victims. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So who?
I thought.
Well, not all of them, because there's a whole myriad of like 20 people before that, but just those that died in that family
But there were
context.
some shots of them.
Yeah, they did show.
Of like
they showed the
first
Miriam
Lassiter guy and like, oh really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right. They're all walking and creeping up. I remember that part.
So who?
I thought you meant when he was getting pulled out in the police car and you saw those three people
the
in the
family.
window. Yeah.
So at the very beginning, where the mirror is just kind of getting warmed up, there seems to be like they talk about that woman in the father's offies. Who is that?
Marisol.
Who is that? Sort of basic.
Soul. Oh my God.
Because the first victim is the Lasser guy, right? So who is that?
Well,
Who's the female?
Who's the
now,
female?
when she was going through her Rugs gallery of people that were killed by the mirror, was the woman who committed suicide. She was the last person before they went to her father. And from what I was seeing, she appeared to be the same person. So it looks like the most recent victim was that female, and she was the embodiment of the mirror as it tried to take over the father.
Oh wow, I did not pick that up. Did not pick that up.
I did.
My answer to
Because I
Brian's
paid
question
attention.
was, I have no idea who that person was.
The brunette who was young and then looked like she was like bleeding out of her vagina.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the one that she was printing pictures of off of her office computer when she was going through her thing in front of the camera and showing everybody all the people that had died. She was the last person she showed before she moved on to her father.
Yeah, and
so I'm guessing that was just a
and
carryover.
When listening to the director commentary, it did sound like this director took great links in thinking the plot through and making sure that shots had purpose and meaning, and that there was more than just beyond, a jump scare.
Yeah, there was really nothing that was a jump scare, except for the thing that jumped Brad into my lap.
That was the it was more of
it was just a sound
surround
effect.
system. The one thing that actually
he's scared of sound.
I looked at a few movies that this director did after watching Oculus, and they weren't really that great.
Really?
So I don't know if this is like a one-off for him, or if maybe I just didn't.
Did he do anything before Oculus?
I think Oculus was the first movie he did. There was like a 30-minute short that inspired Oculus, or was sort of a demo of Oculus.
Now, as I understand it, the curator in the museum who comes up and talks to her when she's looking at the three things covered with tarps was the only person to be carried over from that 30-minute short?
That is true. However, I never saw the 30-minute short, so I don't know. I don't know what that was. I mean, I imagine it's about the same thing that Oculus was about, but I didn't watch it. It was on the Blu-ray, but I didn't. I just didn't watch it.
And you call yourself dedicated to the podcast.
Also, go ahead, Brad.
Oh, I was just going to say, so we can definitively say that, what's her name? Kaylee confirmed her theory through her own death, right? Like her whole thing was to prove that her father wasn't just
a total dickhead.
Right, and that he was actually a victim of the mirror.
So then what happens with all that video footage? Because, they're arresting the brother at the end, but they've got all kinds of video footage in there. You'd think that would pretty much exonerate him, unless somehow the mirror influences someone, maybe a police officer, to go through there and burn all that footage.
Well, I think the footage just shows him manually moving the timer and killing her. So
that's true.
Like, it probably doesn't exonerate him, but the objective viewer,
about
like
the whole
us.
scene where they're talking to each other and moving cameras around.
Yeah. It's going to look just like they were acting weird and then he killed her.
At the end, she's having some kind of reconciliation with her mother. Like she's hugging Mom through the mirror, and Mom is all pure looking and
I think Mom was sister bait.
Yeah, Mom was a mirror attempting to get her into position for being hit by a 20-pound anchor with 20 pounds of additional weight attached to it.
Yeah, that's accurate. That's pound for pound accurate.
I know. I pay attention.
A couple of things I picked up from the director commentary. First was that the producers suggested that this was supposed to be a found footage type movie. So
God, I'm glad it wasn't one of those.
Yeah, so it wasn't going to be like an actual like shot like a real movie. It'd be like a found footage type. So
Like
I guess you would
Blair Witch.
Yeah, like Blair Witch. So I guess you would see like the perspective of the camera that they were recording all the different things going on. And yeah, that movie would have been terrible. The other thing was that they originally were going to shoot it in like a warehouse because it was tough to really realistically suggest that a house that was on the market, a house that they lived in as children, was still accessible 20 years later or 15 years later. I don't know how many years.
10.
10 years
It was
later.
10 years later.
I mean, so it's like if
They were all 57 in the movie.
It would be harder to mingle the past scenes with the present scenes if they weren't in the same.
Yeah.
exactly. So then they eventually switched to like them going back to the original house, which, I mean, without that, the movie would have,
It would have been
both those two pieces, the movie would have been shit.
Yeah, that being in the same house really made the movie what it was.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't have done the cross scenes between the past and the present without them being in the same physical building.